Chapter 14 and 15 in Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie of Doom by Matthew Swanson and Roby Bear, Cookie Chronicles, Book 1.
This is the Cookie Chronicles, Book 1, Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie of Doom by Matthew Swanson and Roby Bear. We are on to Chapter 14. He just got done trying to jump over the hedge, but then the neighbor got in the way, the cat and the neighbor. If you remember this, he was just about to leap over it, and there they are. He had to get home to do the vacuuming for his mom, so he knows he's in trouble because he was at Janet's jumping on the trampoline, eating marshmallows, and doing a latch hook rug kit. So this is Chapter 14. When Ben got home, the blue car was already parked in the driveway, but Ben's mom didn't seem to notice that he was sweaty and out of breath. She was standing in the kitchen with her hands against the counter as if it were the only thing holding her up. Yep, she looks a little tired there. Her face was a mixture of sad and mad and puzzled and tired and discouraged. Ben wanted to ask for the word to describe a face like that, but he was afraid it would be too difficult to pronounce. "Hi, Mom. How's it going?" "Not well, Ben. Not well at all." That doesn't sound too good. Ben figured his mom was upset that the living room floor was still covered in crumbs, dust, and tiny bits of Taj Mahal, but that wasn't it. She was upset because she was reading a recipe and didn't like what it had to say. "Great Aunt Marie is not here, Ben." Ben knew this was true, but didn't know why his mom felt like pointing it out. "Great Aunt Marie is the one who made the blueberry lemon buttermilk chiffon cake with Italian buttercream frosting for our wedding. Great Aunt Marie knew what it was meant to clabber the milk and to fold the egg whites into the batter. But I, for one, do not. Eggs are not a piece of paper, Ben." She was getting pretty worked up. "How am I supposed to fold them? And what does it mean to separate the eggs? Am I supposed to put them in another room?" She doesn't know much about baking. Ben's mom knew pretty much everything, and she really didn't like it when she stubbed her toe against something that she didn't. Maybe she should look on YouTube. Ben put his hand on her arm and led her to a chair. "I don't know what any of these things mean," he said. He had never baked any cake, let alone a cake with a really long name. "But if we put our heads together, I know we can figure it out." Look at the dog peeking out behind the chair. It was the sort of thing Ben's mom usually said to him, and he liked hearing the words come out of his own mouth instead. His mom smiled and stood up. "Of course we can." Big muscle there. "We can do it." Ben used the internet to find out. See, he took my suggestion. Internet to find out that clabbering milk just meant adding a little vinegar. Make it sort of like buttermilk. And that folding the eggs whites meant gently mixing them into the batter once they had been whipped into a fluffy froth. "Then why don't they just say that?" Ben's mom complained, switching to an exasperated face that Ben much preferred to her discouraged one. "Apparently, separating the eggs just means putting the yolks in one bowl and the whites in another." "How are we supposed to do that?" asked Ben's mom, as if the recipe had suggested they swallow a porcupine. "That'd be pretty hard." "I'm pretty sure I can do it. And if you haven't tried it, it's pretty fun. You can do that." Ben tried his best. Most of the yolk ended up in one bowl, and most of the whites ended up in the other, and not many little jagged bits of shells got mixed in with them. He only let 2 or 3 eggs roll off the counter and land on the floor. Dumbles was all too eager to help with the mess. That's why the dog's right there. "It says we need some baking powder," said Ben. "Is baking powder different from baking soda?" His mom was looking at the cabinet with the spices and such. "We have baking soda. It's also white. Oh, they're two different things there. Be careful. Ben assumed there was a difference and that the difference was important. He's right, but he didn't know for sure. How different can they be? Exactly, said Ben's mom with a look of relief. They did all the things the recipe demanded. They mixed the flour, sugar, baking soda, and salt. I'm not sure about that. They added the egg yolks, lemon juice, and oil. Look at all of them. It was time to mix the egg whites. It says we need some cream of tartar, said Ben. His mom rooted through the cabinet again. No luck, she says, but we have some tartar sauce left over from fish sticks on Tuesday. Do you think that would work? I don't think so, Mom. Don't do it. Ben liked tartar sauce, but he couldn't imagine how a sauce full of pickles and mayonnaise would improve the taste of a cake, especially pickles and mayonnaise that were already 4 days old. But his mom's pleading eyes made perfectly clear what she wanted the answer to be. I'm sure it will be fine, said Ben. It was the least true thing he'd said all week. Ben mixed the egg whites and the tartar sauce together. Oh, that'd be disgusting. But they never turned into a fluffy froth. He tried his best to gently fold the runny, lumpy, pickly mess into the rest of the batter, which made it look bad and smell even worse. This is going so well. We are baking, said Ben. We are baking a cake, said his mom, like she needed a pep talk and was giving one to herself. They slid the pan into the oven and set a timer. Ben's mom took a deep breath. I need to sit down for a second, she said. To Ben, it felt like they had just run 10 miles on a bumpy road while performing open heart surgery. He took a deep breath, too. That's his imagination. And then he realized, even though making the cake had been complicated and confusing and uncertain, it had also been fun. Since his mom hated baking cakes, Ben had never baked a cake with his mom, which is why he'd never known that baking a cake with his mom was something he'd wanted to do, which is why it wasn't on his list yet. Ben took out his list. Bake a cake with mom. He counted to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then he crossed it out. Bake a cake. Chapter 15. While the cake baked, Ben and his mom sat next to the Taj Mahal and played a card game called Whoops. While they played Whoops, Ben's mom looked at the floor and said, So, Ben, this doesn't look like a floor that somebody vacuumed. Uh-oh. How did it get dirty again so quickly? Said Ben, trying to sound outraged. Ben's mom gave him her I see what you're up to face, and Ben gave her his, but you can't stay mad at me for long when I make this face. And Ben's face was right. It was impossible to argue after everything they'd been through with the clabbering and the tartar sauce. Ben vacuumed while his mom straightened the stack of magazines and turned the upside-down books upside up. When they were done, there were 3 minutes left on the timer, so they sat in front of the oven and hoped. When the timer dinged, they took out the cake. It looked a lot like Janet's bowl of gloopy pancakes and smelled a lot like Ben's dad's jogging socks. That's not too good. Ben looked at his mom. Her face was full of words that weren't okay to say out loud. Oh, no. I'd like to curl up in the corner and cry, Ben, she says. But you're not going to, right? No way. We're going to solve this problem, or my name's not Linda Yokoyama. But her name was Linda Yokoyama. Because that's what we do? Because that, said Ben's mom, washing her hands and drying them on her pants, is what we do. What next? Asked Ben, who liked how his mom always seemed to know the answer to that question. Plan B. I'm going to the store to buy a cake. They didn't have a blueberry lemon buttermilk chiffon cake with Italian buttercream frosting at Near Alfredo's, but maybe they'll have one at Far Alfredo's. Ben gasped. But Far Alfredo's is... I know, said Ben's mom. Her face was grim. But I see no other choice. Ben's mom grabbed the keys to the blue car and was just about to leave when she said, "I thought of something you can do while I'm gone." Don't they always? This was bad news. Ben had been planning to go help Janet with her rug. "Am I going to like it?" he asked, even though he already knew the answer. "You'll like it the same way you like spinach." "I don't like spinach at all." "Yes, but spinach is good for me?" "Exactly." And we'll find out what that is when we get to chapter 16.
Here are other books written by Matthew Swanson. If you like Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie of Doom, you may like one of these: The Engine Nerds, The 13-Story Treehouse, The Dork Diaries, Stick Dog, Stick Cat, Terrible 2, Alvin Ho, Popularity Papers, Nerds, Bad Kitty.